One photo, 80 facial points. The gate opens in 2 seconds. No fingerprint, no officer, no line. Just invisible math running while you stand still at the glass. Millions walk through these gates every year, and almost nobody knows what the camera is actually measuring. Here's the real problem it has to solve. In real time, with no human watching, it must answer one question. Is this the person the passport belongs to? Get that wrong and the whole system fails. It starts with a single live photo. The camera grabs your face the instant you stop on the marker, adjusting brightness on the fly so you're never too dark or blown out. But it doesn't measure anything yet. First, it just asks, is there even a face here? Everything about the lane is engineered to make that easy. The glass funnels you to one spot. The lighting is even and shadow-free. The camera sits at head height so your face lands centered in frame, not tilted up your nostrils or down at your forehead. Notice something. You never had to pose. That's deliberate. A well-lit, centered front-on face gives the software the cleanest possible starting image. And a clean image is the difference between a 2-second open and a trip to the officer. Only once the system confirms a real face is sitting in the frame does the real work begin. So what does it look at first? Now the measuring begins. The software drops roughly 80 tiny landmark points onto your face. The corners of each eye, the tip and edges of your nose, the line of your jaw, the edges of your lips. Think of them as pins stuck into fixed spots. Here's the clever part. It isn't looking at the color of your eyes or the photo itself. It's measuring the distances and ratios between those pins. How far apart your eyes sit. How your nose length compares to your mouth width. The angle of your cheekbones. Why pins and not a picture? Because a picture changes constantly. Smile and your lips move, but the distance between your eye corners doesn't. Tilt your head and the whole face rotates together, so the ratios between points hold steady. That stability is the whole point. This geometry, the fixed relationships between about 80 points, is what people mean when they call a face a fingerprint. It's not the image of you. It's the unchanging shape underneath it. And a shape can be written down. Here's where the face becomes data. All those distances and ratios get boiled down into a list of numbers, a compact string that describes your unique facial structure. This numeric summary is called a template. That's the term the industry uses, and it's worth knowing because the template, not your photo, is what the whole system runs on. Picture it as a long code, a few hundred numbers, each one capturing some slice of your geometry. It's small, it's just numbers. And crucially, you can't rebuild a recognizable face from it. Now the surprising part. Once the template is made, the live photo has done its job. In most of these systems, the raw image is discarded. It isn't saved, it isn't sent anywhere. The face you presented becomes a string of numbers, and that string is the only thing that moves forward. Which raises the obvious question, moves forward to be compared against what? Against your own passport. That little gold chip on the photo page is a tiny wireless memory, and one of the things it stores is a reference template of your face, made from the passport photo. The gate reads that chip by radio the moment you set the document down. Here's the part that surprises people. The gate is not searching a giant database of millions of faces looking for a match. It's doing something much narrower. It compares exactly two things: the template it just made from your live face and the template pulled from the chip in your hand. Two templates. You versus your own document. That's it. Then it scores them. The software measures how closely the two number strings line up and produces a similarity score. High score, they almost certainly came from the same face. Low score, they didn't. And that score gets checked against a fixed cutoff, a confidence threshold the system won't open below. So how does all of that fit into 2 seconds? 2 seconds start to finish. Capture, landmarking, encoding, matching, all of it fits, and here's why it can. Comparing two templates is nearly instant, because they're just short lists of numbers, and lining up two lists of numbers is trivial for a computer. The heavy-looking work is actually the light work. But there's one more check squeezed into that window, and it's the one that stops the obvious cheat. What if someone just held up a photo of you? So the gate also confirms it's looking at a real three-dimensional face, not a flat picture, not a phone screen, not a mask. It watches for real depth and subtle movement. This is the liveness check, and it runs alongside the match, not after it. Then comes the verdict. If your similarity score clears the threshold, the doors open and you walk through. If it falls short, a bad photo, a borderline score, a failed liveness check, the gate simply doesn't open and you're routed to a human officer. No drama, just a handoff. So can it actually get this wrong? Let's take the fear head on. What if a stranger just looks like me, or the system gets it wrong? Remember what the gate is actually doing. It isn't scanning a crowd hoping to find you. It's checking your live face against one specific template, your own passport. Because the test is so narrow, the odds that a random stranger's face happens to clear the threshold against your exact document are extremely low. A lookalike would have to match not you in general, but the precise geometry stored on the chip you're holding. The genuine hard cases are narrow too. Identical twins share almost the same facial geometry. And a dramatic change, major weight shift and injury decades since the photo, can drag your own score down. Which is exactly why a human officer is always the backstop, not an afterthought. Now the privacy part plainly. This is not a hidden camera scanning a station and comparing every face to a watch list. It's a check you started against a document you brought that you can see happening. Matching you to your own passport and matching you to a database of strangers are completely different acts. And the gate is only doing the first. So here's the whole chain in one breath. A live photo becomes about 80 landmark points. Those points become a string of numbers, your template. That template is matched one-to-one against the reference template read from your passport chip. The two are scored, the score meets a threshold, and the doors open. That's it. The magic at the glass is really just geometry turned into numbers, compared against a document already in your hand. There's no vast database being searched, no face being stored. And those famous 2 seconds, almost none of it is the camera. The photo is quick and the checks are quick. Nearly the entire budget is a computer comparing two tiny lists of numbers, which is exactly why something that feels like sci-fi feels at the gate completely instant. Now you can explain it in one sentence. The gate turns your face into numbers and checks them against the numbers already stored on your passport. But that raises the next question. How did your face get onto that chip in the first place and what else is hiding in it? That's the box we open next.